This is Helping of Happiness, episode number 137. Today we are talking to Brittan Pack, morning coach, all about how to get up early in the morning, how to get yourself woken up and out of that bed. Hi, I'm Hillary Hess, and you're listening to Helping of Happiness. I am a crazy mom of 7 kids who loves to build memories through eating delicious family recipes and going on adventures with my family. On this podcast, you'll be introduced to some delightful people and ideas who inspire me to be a better mom and help me bring family closer together and closer to Jesus Christ. You're probably noticing a theme with our podcast lately. The last podcast we had was with Natalie Bogle when she talked, and from Anchor Planner, when she talked all about organizing our lives and being healthy and getting into better routines. And part of that, she talked about her morning routine. Well, today we have on Brittan Pack, who is a morning coach, and she is teaching us how to get up out of bed. So not just about her morning routine. Can you tell that I really need help with my morning routine? Because I keep asking people to come in to talk about it because I obviously need help. She is teaching us how to actually get ourselves out of bed. Not just here's your routine, but this is how you get your body out of those blankets and moving, which is what I really need help with. So I've been practicing what she has been telling me to do when we recorded this podcast. I've been practicing it and it's been working, but I have a confession. I, this morning, was so proud of myself. Got up at 5:15, 5:30-ish. I was up for 2 hours, working away, doing my routine. And then I just went back to bed for like an hour and I was reading and I was sleeping again and relaxing. And so I don't know if it really did me a lot of good to get up early today when I just went back to sleep and got lazy, but at least I'm getting that first step done, and maybe I need to have somebody come on to tell me how to keep out of bed once I've gotten out of it. So anyway, I cannot wait for you to listen to Brittan. She's fantastic, and let's all work on this together. I have quite the treat for you all this morning. We have Brittan Pack on today, and she is a morning coach, which is great because I need more help with my morning. And if I have a morning voice, it's because we're recording in the morning. So this is super fun. Brittan, hello.
Yes, hi. How are you?
I'm so good. I am excited for all of this morning coaching because I feel like my morning routine ebbs and flows, and I need to be motivated again because I'm kind of in the not loving the getting up, but trying really hard to get up phase of my ebbing and flowing right now. So, Brittan, will you tell us, before we get started, tell us a little about you and your family?
Sure. So, like Hillary said, my name is Brittan, and I live in a little town called Eden in Utah. And I'm married. We have 3 little kids. I have a 5-year-old. My middle one is 3. So I have 2 boys and then a girl, and she is about 18 months. So it's busy and it's crazy. And my mornings all started kind of because of my kids. So I'm actually a pharmacist by trade. I work, and I was working full-time. And then when I had kids, I went back to work part-time, but I still, just the whole morning thing with my kids was like, it was insane. And so I just, over time, since my oldest is 5. And so since I've had him, I've kind of like tweaked it and everything. But that's kind of why it all started, was because of my kids. And so I just kind of want to help other moms who, I don't know, we'll talk about it as we go along, but it is just a game changer in your life when you have yourself set in the morning. So then you can take care of others as the day goes on. So yeah, it's kind of where it started.
Okay, I love this. So have you always been an early riser, or is this something that came about?
So my friends they think it's hilarious because I have not actually. So obviously we all have to wake up early when we're going to school. And growing up, I was the last one to bed in my family. I always turned off all the lights. I was the one to lock the doors because I was always the last one in bed. And then of course, through college, you have your late nights, just because there's no one to tell you not to, and you binge watch Netflix with your roommates all the time. And so I made sure my college classes had late starts because I had late nights. And then when I went to pharmacy school, I had to wake up early, but I hated it. Like, I remember just feeling yucky and sick every morning because I was like exhausted because I would stay up late. And so it was just no. So that's the long, short answer is no. I have not always been a morning person. I've had to wake up early, but I have not enjoyed it.
Well, I feel like it's easier to identify with somebody that struggled to start doing the morning routine than somebody who just always happy and just a morning person, you know? So I kind of love that you haven't always been a morning person, so you can teach us how to
Yeah.
get there. So tell me a little bit about mornings for moms.
So mornings for mom, like I said, I started when my born. I I really like health and fitness. I'm very much into working out and makes me feel good. And I was trying to fit my workouts in with my first baby, working around my work schedule, and it was so hard to come home and work out after with my baby crying and wanting you and you wanting to spend time with them. And so over the last couple of years, I kind of switched my mindset, and I started working out in the mornings. And then this year, well, I should say probably not this year, last year, 2020, in January, I kind of started sitting down and thinking, what can I do? Like, what has made the difference since my kids have been born? What has been the game changer in my life? Like, what is something I could share with others? Just trying to think. And I realized my morning routine was something that I do different than everybody else. And I just, but I was like, but obviously, like, people could have a morning routine if they wanted to, like. And as time went on, I realized people want to have a morning routine. They just can't stick to it and have a hard time sticking to it. You can go for a couple weeks, maybe a month, but then something happens and you fall back off the wagon, and then you're not motivated to get back on. And I just realized I'm very consistent. That's one of my tendencies, or you could say OCD tendencies, is that I'm super consistent with my hobbies. And I just was like, how can I help people be consistent in this? And that's kind of where Mornings for Mom stemmed from. And that's kind of where we are right now.
Awesome.
Is so I can help others be consistent in their morning routine. Yeah.
So good. Okay, so why are you so passionate about getting up early? I'd love to hear more of like your personal story, why this is just brought out all this excitement.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like when you tell people you like to wake up early, it's kind of like like that does not sound fun at all. And it excites me, which is so funny because I used to hate it myself. But so I mentioned that I work, and after having my baby, one day I'd gotten to work. I have to be to work early. So this is another part of it. I have to be to work at 6 a.m. And one of my coworkers, she had mentioned that she had just came from her workout, and I was like, are you kidding me? But I was like, but it's not fair because I have about a 30-minute commute to work, whereas she lived like 5 minutes from where we work. And so I was like, I would have to be working out, at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, like kind of a joke, where she could wake up at 5:30 and still make it to work. But then the thought just came to me like, oh, well, if she can do that, then I can do that. So that's kind of what started it all. If she can do it, I can do it too. And it just, when you work out in the mornings, it totally changes your whole, like how your body feels. You wake up your mind, you wake up your body, and you feel better about yourself. And so when I started doing that, you kind of start to crave it. People who know, and people who don't know don't understand, but it feels so good. And so I was craving the mornings and my morning workouts. And as time went on, and I just kept learning about things, and you learn about how to make your life better, I wanted to start incorporating like journal time. People talk about affirmations, and I didn't know much about that, but I started to learn and I started to incorporate that. And I wanted to incorporate my scripture study to make that a consistent habit. And it kind of morphed into all these things that I like to do in the mornings. And it totally sets my day up to run, as smoothly as it can when you have kids, little kids. But when you can set your day up so you can kind of plan things out, so you're not just like living in Groundhog Day and nothing gets done, it totally can Like it's changed the projection of my life. And that's what I want to help others, because I know when you're like a mom and you're just trying to survive day to day, it's like you feel so messy and frustrated. Like you're exhausted and you feel like you wanted to do certain things, but the things didn't get done because you assume you have the time because you're home all the time. But if you don't plan it, it still doesn't happen. So
I love this. Okay, so can you just take us like totally through your morning routine? I want to know, what does this look like? What time are we doing things? What all is in here? This is
yes.
very interesting to me.
Yes. So a morning routine, I like to say, it fits wherever you're at in your lifestyle. You get to choose your morning routine and you get to choose what you want to do. Like you don't have to do what I'm doing. I have kind of like five main tasks that on a perfect morning, these are the things that I do, but I don't do all of them every day just because of time and of priorities. And so, well, let's just say I'm still a work in progress. My alarm goes off about 4 and I get out of bed about 4:15. And I like to do my workout first on the days that I'm going to work, because that's the thing that helps my brain and my body when I'm at work. And so I will get up and I will do my workout. So on the days that I don't have a ton of time, I do that. And then when I'm driving to work, I like to listen to my scriptures and like listen to a general conference talk. So that's kind of how I fit those things in. So that's kind of like, I would say it's my consistent thing, but it's not the norm. On the days that I'm home, so for those that are home with kids or they have later starts to their mornings, they don't have to be out of the house by 5:30, which is kind of a joke. Um, I know. What I like to do is I wake up and then I like to start with prayer. And then I like to read my scriptures, and then I will do my journal time. And my journal time consists of my gratitude. I do a little gratitude journal, and then I do my affirmations, which in my program that I have, I go into detail about all of these sections. We talk about it all, what each one is. And then after my affirmations, I like to do my to-do list, which I have a whole thing about that, because I feel like you're either a list person or you're not, but you also don't want to set yourself up for failure. You don't want to feel bad when you don't complete your to-do list. And so I do a lot of coaching around that, because I believe in grace and I believe that there's enough time to do all the things that we need. And at the end of each day, if you didn't get anything done, like, it's okay. You move on and you try again tomorrow and you let it be enough. So I talk a lot about that. And then after I do those things, and then it's time for my workout. And on an ideal morning, all those things are done before my kids even wake up. However, that's usually not the case. I'm usually working out when my kids wake up, which is totally fine because they've grown up with me doing that. I work out from home with my home workouts, and they totally understand, and they wait until I'm done or they join in with me. So it's been really great, but that's kind of the gist of my morning routine. And it sounds like a lot. Like, I understand that. It sounds like so much. But when you start doing it and when you kind of get in the habit of doing it, all these little key factors. But I mentioned you don't have to do it all. You can do what you want to do. What's the priority in your life? And then you don't have to wake up that early. Like, you can wake up whatever fits your lifestyle and works for your lifestyle. So, and I talk about all that when I work with my clients, and we work through that together.
And I'm assuming you didn't jump into nothing waking up early to doing all of these things all in one shot,
Exactly.
right? You kind of started out with the working out and then kind of added these other things in
Yep.
as you went along.
Yep, exactly. And I like to call it, you can do 5 minutes of each task, or I have like the minimum, what's the minimum that I have to do? I want to work out for at least 20 minutes. I can do like 5 minutes of scripture study, 5-minute journal time. You could listen to scriptures in the car as you're driving. So you can fit things around. You can listen to podcasts while you're doing housework and things. So exactly, like, you don't have to do it all. That's what I mentioned. And you can pick what's your favorite, what you want to work on the most. I have one of my ladies, she decided she wanted to just wake up 15 minutes earlier and do just listen or study a conference talk. And that is another thing. I kind of start out, I have a 5-day mini morning challenge that I run ladies through. And I talk about each of the morning, but my goal is to just like you pick one thing and you wake up 15 minutes earlier every day that week and you just work on that one thing. That's kind of how you get started.
I love it. That feels so doable. 15 minutes doesn't feel like a big deal. I think that's a great little
Yeah,
bite-sized way to start. That's amazing.
exactly.
So, how do you figure out what time you need to get up? That's, it's like, okay, do we all get up at 4 in the morning? Do we get up at 6? How early is a good
Yeah.
early morning time, right?
Yep. So I kind of like reverse engineer it, I guess. So just think if you do need to leave the house for the day, what time do you need to leave the house? So let's pretend that I need to leave to go to an appointment at 9 o'clock. And how long does it take me and the kids to get ready? Like I have to get the kids ready and I have to get me ready. So I probably want to start doing that at about 8 o'clock or 7:30. It depends, how long it takes you and your kids to get ready. And so that means I want to be done working out by 7:30. And so that means I need to start working out by 7, which means if I want to like read and pray and journal, I want to start at 6:30. So at that time, so I could probably wake up around 6ish and fit everything in before I need to leave the house. So that's kind of, I like to reverse engineer my mornings when I need to leave at different times.
But what do you do
Yeah.
when your kids are up? Like, how does this, do you have really early risers or do your kids sleep in?
Yeah, so
How do you factor that in?
they used to sleep for me so good, but as they've grown a little bit older and their ages have changed, I have one who likes to wake up, when he can hear us out there, he likes to come out, but I kind of, not that I have trained them, but kind of, I tell him, this is mommy's time, it's quiet time, it's way too early, you don't need to be up, and he doesn't want to go get back in his bed. So I have him just lay on the couch and he just lays on his blanket on the couch. Sometimes he falls back asleep. Sometimes he just sits there with me. But I tell him, this is mommy's time. And I will still, do my reading, do my journaling. And then they know that I work out every morning and I just do my home workout. So they're just in my living room and I'll either, let them eat cereal while I'm working out or they play with their toys. It's different every morning. It depends, sometimes my workouts are stop and go and they take a lot longer than they would because I'm helping them. But for the most part, they know, that I'm doing this. I had a couple ladies, they were asking me this and they just would turn the TV on for their kids when they woke up at 6 o'clock. And I'm like, don't do that. You're rewarding them. Like they think if they get up early, they get to watch cartoons, so they're going to keep getting up early because you keep turning on the TV for them. So I don't let them watch any cartoons or TV. Like they just get to sit there quietly if they want to be up. So that's kind of how I've handled it.
My kids totally did that though for a while. I feel like those really new mom years, I was trying to figure all these things out, and it was to try to get a little bit of sleep in those newborn years. I'd try turning on a movie or something for the kids, but then they'd start getting up earlier and earlier and earlier, and then it was like, okay, we can't be doing any TV in the morning. This is not working. So I totally get what you're saying with that.
Oh, but I did want to throw in, now that you say that, I totally forgot. I do tell my ladies that there is a time and a season. So like if you are pregnant or you have a newborn, like trying to do all these things is not the time. And we talk about that too, and there's different ways you can do it and your mindset changes. But yeah, there's definitely a time and a season in your life.
Yeah. Don't kill yourself trying to get up super early when you're getting 3 hours of sleep. That's just crazy.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do you get yourself up? What do you tell yourself? Because that, I think, is half the battle, is just getting yourself to wake up.
So this is one of the things that I was like, this is, I think, the main, people to get out of bed is so hard. And I have what's called my morning mantras that I kind of repeat in my head, and I share these in my program, but some of them are like the brain is a powerful thing. And when you repeat things, your brain believes it. So you say it as if it's already happening. One of my ones that I still say every single morning when my alarm goes off is, I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. Like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Like, I'm awake. Like, and I just repeat that in my brain until I kind of like start to feel more awake. And then another thing is when I go to bed the night before, I read a book. I think it was I don't know if it was The Miracle Morning or what, but it talks about just your mindset when you go to bed and what you're telling yourself. So if you are going to bed and you're telling yourself, oh, I have to wake up at 5, I'm going to be so tired, like, oh, I'm not getting enough sleep. And then when you wake up, like, that's how you're going to feel. But if you go to bed and you say, okay, I'm going to bed, I'm getting enough sleep, like 7 to 8 hours for an adult is what you should be aiming for. But if you say, I'm going to get enough sleep, I'm going to wake up nice and refreshed, this is going to be good. Then when you start repeating that to yourself more often, when you wake up, you will start to feel that way instead of feeling groggy and tired and yucky. So what you say to yourself is very important around those sleep times.
I'm assuming you go to bed pretty early. If you're getting up at 4 and you're getting 8 hours of sleep, when are you going to sleep? Do you have like an evening routine?
Well, I'm tired, I know. I go to bed, I mean, I aim for 9 o'clock. It's usually, between 9:30 and 10. And so I should say on the days that I'm working, I wake up at 4, but on the days that I'm home, I wake up around 6. So it kind of averages, over the course of the week. So yeah, I aim for 9. It's usually around 9:30, 10-ish. But yeah, if I can be in bed by 9:30, I feel pretty good.
So what's your evening routine? Do you kind of start your morning routine at night, or you have a way that you wind down, or you just go to sleep?
Well, I make sure that I always have, the more you have prepared at night, the easier it is to wake up in the morning. So I make sure all my workout clothes are set out so that all I have to do is literally just like pick them up and go change. So I don't have to, disturb my husband or anything. I don't turn on any lights. I can just pick them up and I walk out and I go change into another bathroom out by our living room. And then if I'm going to work, I make sure all my work clothes are out. If I'm going to work, I make sure my lunches and everything is packed. The less you have to do in the morning, the more you can prepare at night, the easier it is. And my goal, for an evening routine, I would love to read every night before bed, but sometimes that's just not possible. Trying to get 3 kids in bed. And so that's, on my ideal evening, I would like to read to kind of settle down my brain, but that happens sometimes not.
Love that. Okay. Well, I think we need to tell everybody where we can find you to be able to join in all this Mama's Morning stuff here. So tell us where we can find you.
Well, you can find me at BrittanPack.com, or under Instagram, I'm just at Brittan Pack. And I have what's called Mama's Morning Method is my program where I help. It's a 6-week course where I help you go through all these things, all the morning things, all the evening things. We set it up, your ideal routine, and then we have an accountability group where I help keep you accountable. Because like I mentioned, you can start, but the whole goal is to do it long-term and consistently. So to keep you accountable for 6 weeks. And then, yeah, I have tons of little freebies. If you want to head to BrittanPack.com/morning list, I have my checklist for all the things that I talked about. Yeah, so I would love to connect.
Love it. I can't wait. This is going to be so fun. Okay, is there anything else that you wanted to share that I missed?
I don't believe you're born a morning person or not, because I did think that before. Like I mentioned, I hated the morning. I always told myself I was a night owl, and the mornings were so hard, but you have to watch how you talk to yourself, and I believe anybody can become a morning person. So it's totally possible. You can do it, and I love to help you get there.
I believe it too. I am with you. I never thought I was a morning person. And I really don't always still love getting up in the morning, but I love how I feel when I get up early in the morning. And so that's what kind of motivates me to do it more and more and more. So I think if I can do it, anybody can do it. So.
Well, that's how I feel too. That's like I said, if she can do it, I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. So,
And I
but
love
yeah,
that you mentioned times and seasons because it is tricky. And I feel like I have to be a little bit graceful with myself because I have teenagers and I have a 3-year-old. So
yeah,
sometimes I am up really late waiting up for those kids when they're out
yeah,
doing their things. And if
yeah,
that's the case, then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to get up super early in the morning and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I want to
yep.
get my 6 to 7 hours of sleep so that I am
Mhm.
not a total zombie for the rest of the
Yeah.
day. But I'm also
And
trying to teach my kids, don't go to bed super late, but I definitely want
yep,
to be able to let them
exactly.
be with their buddies on the weekends and
Yep.
stuff.
It's all grace. It's all grace and learning.
So, do you have a few minutes for us to go into our 3 helpful and happy questions?
Sure. If I know my answers.
So, I like to throw this in here because this ties our podcast in with the Helping of Happiness blog. On our blog, we
Yeah.
talk about family recipes, traveling, and then family and home hacks and home life. So, the first question is, what is your favorite food or meal?
Oh my goodness. So when people ask this, I legit don't feel like I have a favorite anymore. I don't know. When growing up, when someone would ask me what my favorite food was, I would tell them elk steak and strawberries, which is, I feel like, my go-to because I don't even know. And I guess that's something I didn't mention before is that I grew up hunting. I'm the oldest of 4 girls, so we don't buy meat from the store. I've never bought beef. So we
Oh my
eat
gosh, I can't even imagine.
and deer. But that's a whole nother story, I guess. That's a whole nother side of the story. But so yeah, so elk steak.
That is so amazing. Okay, what is the best trip you've ever gone on or your dream vacation?
So I guess this kind of goes along with that I grew up hunting is when I
Okay,
finished
I
farm.
think we need to hear this hunting story.
I know, it's
Never
so
buy
fun.
meat? What? This is like crazy
No,
amazing.
it's
Tell me about
totally
this.
different. Oh my gosh, it's a big long story, I guess. But I mean, I grew up the oldest of 4 girls with a dad who's an avid outdoorsman. So, he didn't have any boys, so he took us with him. So that's kind of how we just always have grown up hunting and fishing and camping. And I had horses. So just the fun outdoor life. But so when I finished pharmacy school, I did a pharmacy residency. And after that, it always been my dream to go to Africa on a
Oh my
safari.
God.
So we went on a hunting safari, me and my husband. And then I invited my dad because he was my hunting partner. And I don't know. I mean, this year we wanted to go to Hawaii for my husband and I's 10-year anniversary. And I'd been so looking forward to that. And then with COVID and everything, it didn't happen. So I'm still
Ah,
dreaming about that.
COVID. Wah, wah.
I know.
Oh, that is so amazing. How cool to go on this hunting African safari. So, what did you hunt? What kinds
I
of
know.
things did you get there?
So you'd have to look up pictures of them because if you don't know the names, but they're called kudu and oryxes, and we got impalas and springbuck and a blue wildebeest and a
So there's
zebra.
like
It was
all these
fun.
types of
Yeah, just
um
African
like
animals that used to
different
be on.
antelope, deer type of animals. I remember them from all the zoo. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Yeah, it was really neat. It was
How
fun.
cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, last one. Do you have a homemaking hack for us?
I think that's so funny. I have my mother and sister-in-law are like the homemaking queens. They have like the cutest little shop. Um, I'll do a shout out for them. It's called Emmy James. You can find them online at Emmy James, but it's like so cute for homemaking and they help me with my home. But I will say, as I said, I am a morning person. So one of my favorite things is throughout the day when you walk into your bedroom and your bed is made, it just looks so, I don't know, it makes me feel good. And so I would say when you wake up, make your bed and get cute pillows to put on your bed. Makes you feel good throughout the day.
I love the cute pillows thing because that's where I'm lacking. I need to get something that makes it look a little less like a college
Yeah,
dorm room. That would be great.
exactly.
Oh, this has been so much fun. I am so excited and motivated to really get going. I love talking about this as the new year's hitting. because I know we're all trying to be a little better. And I think getting up earlier in the morning just makes it so that you can be available to these other things that you want to get done during the day. So
Yep.
it's not getting into your whole.
Exactly. When you take care of yourself in the morning, you're better able to take care of others the rest of the day. That's how I feel.
So awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. I know mornings are important to you, so I'm glad that we could fit in your morning.
Yes, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Isn't Brittan great? I loved her tips. I especially loved how she talked about times and seasons, how this is not always the right time or season to be doing an early morning routine, but to just kind of go with what is happening in your life and your family. But I also love her idea of getting up 15 minutes earlier and maybe just doing a couple of little things, because that feels really doable to me. The other thing I wanted to request of you is, if you are enjoying this podcast, please share it with a friend. Take a screenshot of your device that you're listening on and send a picture of it to your friend, or copy and paste the link. You can give us a rate and review in the podcast app that you're listening to, and of course subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So we would love to hear from you. It always is fantastic to hear what you're enjoying and what you even would like to hear next. Have a great week.